Hey everyone, Brendan here. Today we're talking about job interview questions. Now I've probably done several hundred job interviews in my career, and I would say the most popular interview question is, tell me a little bit about yourself. And the reason that I wanted to do a video on this one is A, it's the most popular question you're going to hear, and B, my observation is 90-95% of all job interview candidates get this one wrong. Most people take this question for granted. They don't prepare for it properly, and they tend to approach it in one of two ways. Most candidates will hear the question and they'll use it as an opportunity to launch into their resume. They'll start at the beginning, they'll start working all the way up, and before you know it, they've been talking for 15 minutes and the interview's bored and hasn't really gotten anything out of it. The other way that candidates tend to answer this question, tell me a little bit about yourself, is they'll use it as an opportunity to start talking about them from a personal perspective. They'll say, you know, I've been living in the city for 10 years, I have a family and 3 dogs. Neither one of those is the right way to answer this question. It can really lead you astray in an interview. And my number one piece of advice for you is don't sleep on this question. Don't think, it may seem innocuous to you, but in actual fact, this is a unique opportunity for you in a job interview to answer a question that is truly open-ended. When you think about all the questions that you're likely to get asked in a job interview, tell me about your greatest strength, tell me about your greatest weakness, tell me about a time when you made a mistake and had to repair it. All of these are very specific, they're very precise, and they require very specific and precise answers. Tell me a little bit about yourself is unique in that it's truly open-ended and you can answer it in any way that you want. And so my advice is to use this as your opportunity to play offense. Use this question as your opportunity to make your most fundamental case for why you are unique and different and a great fit for the job. So why don't I take you through an example that kind of walks you through how I think about answering this question, and within that I'll give you some of my rules for answering the question, tell me a little bit about yourself. So rule number one is that you need to acknowledge your competitors. The reality of a job search, the reality of the hiring process is you are going to be up against a number of other candidates, probably good ones if you're getting late in the game for an interview. And so rather than pretend that you're the only candidate in the world and then leave it to chance for the hiring manager to make a decision, I prefer to acknowledge the kinds of other candidates I think are probably going up for the job so that I can then talk about my unique value and my unique positioning relative to them. So I might start my answer to this question, tell me a little bit about yourself, by framing the competitive landscape a little bit for the hiring manager. And I'll say something like, you know, it's likely throughout this hiring process you're going to meet a number of different candidates with a number of different kinds of experiences. You're probably going to meet industry specialists. You're probably going to meet people who are super deep in technology. You might meet some people who have a ton of depth in terms of working directly with customers. And so by doing that, what I have done is I've helped the hiring manager start building their decision-making framework in their own mind by acknowledging the different kinds of competitors I'm likely going to be up against. And in my next rule, I'm going to position myself against that so that I can win. So rule number two, now that I have acknowledged my competitors, rule number two is state your unique value. And so now is when I'll say, so listen, there's many kinds of candidates out there, industry experts, technology experts, customer specialists, but what I think is unique about my experience, is why I think I'm a uniquely good fit for this position, is I have a breadth of experience across all of these things. I have strong industry experience, I have a career in technology, and I've worked with customers. And I think that that makes me unique in that I have a breadth of experience. I'm not a specialist. And so now that I've laid out the competitors, I've stated my unique value and unique fit for the position, now I go to rule number 3. And rule number 3 is about giving the hiring manager one memorable takeaway to walk out of there with. I can tell you, having been on the other side of hundreds of job interviews, I can't tell you how many times I leave a 30 or 60-minute job interview and I honestly can't remember exactly what we've talked about. I might have had positive or negative feelings overall, but I don't walk out of there with sort of one thing to hang my hat on or to remember that candidate. And so when I'm interviewing for jobs, I try to leave the hiring manager with one thing that I want them to walk away with. And so I might say, now that I've said, there's a number of different candidates you're probably going to meet: industry specialists, technology specialists, customer specialists. What I think makes me uniquely well suited to this position is I have a breadth of experience across all of these things. And if you were to walk away with one thing after this interview with me, I wish that you'd walk away knowing that I think that breadth of experience is going to enable me to make a more immediate impact than somebody who's just a specialist in one of these areas. Because I have that breadth of experience, I think I can make a positive impact, and I think I can make it quickly, which makes me uniquely well suited to the situation that you're in. So there you have it. Next time you're faced with the question, or next time you're preparing for a job interview and you think you're going to be faced with the question, tell me a little bit about yourself. First things first is don't sleep on this question. Prepare for it. Take it seriously. The second thing is when you're asked this question, don't launch into a review of your resume. Don't launch into your personal history. Use it as an opportunity to state your case, to make the case about your unique value. And the way that you do that, you start by acknowledging the different kinds of candidates the hiring manager is probably likely to meet in the process. Number 2 is you make the case for your unique value relative to those other people, and then you leave the hiring manager with one memorable takeaway that will help them when they go back to make the decision to frame it up and ultimately to give you the best chance to win. So I hope that was helpful for you. Good luck in preparing for your job. If you enjoyed this video, like it. If you want to see other articles or videos, check out my website, brendanreed.com. Thank you very much, and good luck in your job search.